Your mind doesn't explode in silence because you're weak. It explodes because quiet finally gives your pain a place to speak. In this video, we are going to look at what truly happens inside you when life finally stops moving. When you lie down, close your eyes, or simply breathe, your brain doesn't rest. It recalibrates. It opens the hidden rooms within you, the ones filled with unfinished conversations, unprocessed emotions, and the fears you never slowed down long enough to face. We'll explore how the default mode network awakens in stillness, why rumination pulls you into loops, and how stress chemicals echo long after your day ends. This is the emotional, biological truth behind those restless nights when your thoughts refuse to let you go. Most people never realize this, but the moment you finally sit down and try to relax is often the moment your mind decides to do the opposite. You can spend an entire day moving, working, solving problems, trying to keep up with everything life demands from you. And all the while you look forward to that one moment where everything becomes quiet. You picture yourself lying in bed, ready to rest, or stepping outside to breathe for a minute, or closing your eyes just to give your mind a small break. But when you finally reach that point, something unexpected happens. Your body slows down, but your mind speeds up as if it has been waiting for the silence to reveal everything it had been holding back. Your thoughts start to rush forward. Memories you were not even thinking about earlier suddenly appear. Worries you tried to ignore start creeping in. Scenarios about the future start playing like movie clips on repeat. Instead of finding peace, it feels like your brain is throwing everything at you at once. It's a strange feeling because in that moment you genuinely want rest. You want your mind to be still, but it becomes active as if it has its own agenda, separate from your intentions. You can be lying there perfectly still, trying to let go, but your thoughts feel louder than they were at any other point in the day. And in the middle of all that noise, you may start wondering if something's wrong with you. Why does your mind refuse to relax at the exact moment you need it to? Why does your brain seem to behave in the opposite way of what you want? And why does the silence make everything feel amplified instead of peaceful? Before we go deeper into this, it's important to understand that nothing about this experience is strange or rare. It happens to people all over the world, regardless of age, personality, or emotional background. It also has nothing to do with being bad at relaxing. In fact, most people who struggle with a racing mind during rest assume that they lack discipline or that something is missing in them. But the reality is the complete opposite. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It is not broken. It is not defective. It is operating exactly the way it was designed to. When you try to relax and your mind starts racing, you are experiencing one of the most natural processes in the human brain. The brain does not turn off. It does not have a shutdown mode or a silent mode. Even when you're lying down with your eyes closed, your brain remains incredibly active. It functions like a city at night, quieter on the surface, but still filled with movement, activity, and internal work that continues whether you are aware of it or not. Signals keep firing. Thoughts keep forming. Memories shift around. Emotions reorganize themselves. Your brain continues functioning as a living, dynamic system, even when your body is in a state of rest. Scientists discovered something fascinating about this when they studied the brain during rest. They found that when people stop focusing on tasks and stop actively engaging with the world around them, their brains do not quiet down. In many cases, the brain becomes even more active. This observation led to the discovery of a highly important internal system called the default mode network, often referred to as the DMN. You can think of it as your brain's background engine, the part of your mind that becomes engaged when you're not doing anything externally. The DMN only becomes active when your external world becomes quiet. It handles internal thinking, your reflections, your memories, your imagination, your sense of self, your emotional processing, and your understanding of your experiences. When you lie down to rest and stop paying attention to what is happening outside of you, your brain shifts inward. And for many people, that internal shift feels overwhelming because it brings thoughts to the surface that you did not have time to process during the day. During the day, you move from task to task, conversation to conversation, distraction to distraction. You don't give your mind much room to reflect. But the moment you stop, the DMN steps in to catch up on everything you didn't consciously deal with. It begins replaying important moments from the day. It reconnects you with unresolved emotions. It reminds you of things you forgot to think through. It pushes memories and ideas into your awareness as part of a natural internal sorting process. This is why, when you rest, your mind feels louder. It is simply switching from external attention to internal processing. Most people never learn this, so they assume their racing thoughts are a sign of failure. But the truth is your brain works like this because it is trying to help you. It is trying to make sense of your experiences, your feelings, and your identity. It is doing exactly what the human mind evolved to do. But the default mode network explains only part of the story. It explains why thoughts appear. It does not explain why those thoughts become overwhelming, repetitive, heavy, or intrusive. That deeper intensity comes from another psychological mechanism that activates during rest, especially when you've had a stressful day, when you're emotionally overloaded, or when your mind is trying to make sense of ongoing concerns. This mechanism is known as perseverative cognition, the mental loop that refuses to stop. This is the part where your thoughts do not just appear, but start repeating themselves. It's when your mind replays conversations, analyzes problems from earlier in the day, imagines worst-case scenarios, rehearses future situations, or reopens emotional wounds you never fully resolved. This repetitive thinking keeps your stress response active, even though your body is lying still. It sends signals to your nervous system that something might still be wrong, and your brain responds by keeping you alert. The result is a contradiction. Your body wants peace. Your mind thinks you need to stay ready. And even though you consciously want rest, your brain is still analyzing, predicting, and protecting you. But if you think the internal noise ends there, you're mistaken. There's an emotional system in your brain that can make the noise much louder. And after that, there's a chemical explanation involving dopamine that makes stillness uncomfortable. And then there's the exhaustion of attention that makes quiet moments feel even heavier. All of these factors interact in ways most people never learn to understand. Before moving into all those deeper layers, it is important to spend time with the first truth. Your mind races because it is trying to process, understand, and organize your internal world. It is not a flaw. It is not a weakness. It is a biological process. To truly understand why your mind becomes so active when you try to rest, you need a clear picture of what the default mode network actually does. This network is one of the most important discoveries in modern neuroscience because it revealed something that contradicts everything we once believed about the resting brain. For decades, scientists assumed the brain would quiet down when we stopped performing tasks. They thought the mind became empty or slowed down during rest. But when advanced brain imaging tools such as fMRI became available, the evidence showed something different. Certain regions of the brain became even more active when people were not focused on anything external. The regions involved include the medial prefrontal cortex, which helps you reflect on yourself, the posterior cingulate cortex, which manages awareness and introspection, and other interconnected areas that work together to create a sense of internal experience. These regions are the core of the default mode network, and they work like an internal workspace where your mind evaluates and organizes your personal reality. When you're not concentrating on the outside world, the DMN turns its attention inward. It reflects on your life. It examines your feelings. It processes your memories. It imagines your future. It evaluates your identity and how you see yourself. It analyzes the meaning of events you experienced. It connects emotional patterns to personal experiences. It sorts out information you encountered throughout the day. It tries to understand what matters and what doesn't. It explores possibilities and plays out scenarios. It is constantly trying to help you make sense of your existence. This is why, when you're trying to relax, your mind suddenly becomes flooded with thoughts. You didn't summon them. You didn't choose them. They emerge because your brain finally has the space to focus on them. During the day, your attention is pulled outward by tasks, responsibilities, conversations, and distractions. Your brain does not have time to engage deeply in self-reflection when you're in motion. But as soon as the world becomes quiet, your brain shifts into internal processing mode, because that is when it can catch up. For many people, this experience feels overwhelming because the thoughts that surface are not always neutral or pleasant. They can include memories you avoided, feelings you suppressed, decisions you postponed, or fears you ignored. The DMN doesn't discriminate. It brings up whatever is unresolved. If you had a stressful conversation, your DMN will replay it. If you're uncertain about your future, your DMN will explore possibilities. If you have emotional tension buried beneath your day-to-day tasks, your DMN will surface it because it is trying to handle unfinished emotional work. But the DMN alone doesn't explain the intensity of racing thoughts. If your internal world feels chaotic, repetitive, or uncontrollable when you rest, it's because another mechanism is working alongside the DMN. That mechanism is perseverative cognition, a psychological loop where your mind repeats the same thoughts over and over, usually related to worry or rumination. Perseverative cognition makes your brain behave like a machine stuck in a cycle. It keeps revisiting the same fears, the same memories, the same hypothetical scenarios. It analyzes them repeatedly as if it's trying to prevent something from going wrong or trying to solve a problem that your logical mind has no answer for. This loop activates your stress response. Even though your body is on the bed, your brain acts as if a threat is present. It keeps cortisol elevated. It keeps your heart rate slightly elevated. It keeps your muscles tight. It keeps your breathing shallow. It puts you in a state of alertness because it thinks you still need protection. This constant scanning for danger happens because the brain is designed for survival, not comfort. It is more interested in preventing a threat than in helping you feel relaxed. So when your mind loops through negative or stressful thoughts, it is not because you want to worry. It is because your brain is trying to protect you from anything that feels unresolved, unfamiliar, or risky. What makes this even more intense is the involvement of the amygdala, your brain's emotional alarm system. When you have experienced stress for a long time, the amygdala becomes more reactive. It starts to respond to things that aren't dangerous, simply because they remind your brain of past stress. A conversation, a mistake, an unfinished task, or even a vague feeling of discomfort can activate it. The amygdala doesn't wait for proof of danger. It responds to anything that resembles it. So during those quiet moments when your awareness turns inward, the amygdala heightens the emotional intensity of your thoughts. What could have been a simple reflection becomes a worry. What could have been a harmless memory becomes something that feels emotionally loaded. This emotional overactivation makes your internal noise louder, more vivid, and harder to silence. On top of that, dopamine, one of your brain's key reward and motivation chemicals, plays a major role in how your mind behaves in silence. When dopamine levels dip, which can happen after long days, emotional exhaustion, or excessive screen time, silence feels uncomfortable. A low dopamine brain craves stimulation, novelty, and engagement. So when external stimulation disappears, the brain creates internal stimulation. It fills the silence with thoughts. It pushes you into imagination, analysis, prediction, or reflection because it's trying to avoid the discomfort of mental stillness. This is why people who scroll constantly, multitask nonstop, or consume large amounts of digital content often struggle to relax. Their dopamine system has adapted to constant stimulation and becomes uneasy when the mind has no external input. And then there is the issue of attention fatigue. Throughout the day, your brain uses mental energy to focus, filter distractions, make decisions, and regulate your thoughts. This energy is not infinite. It drains gradually. By nighttime, the system responsible for controlling your thoughts becomes tired. Once that happens, your ability to filter or quiet your mental activity becomes weaker. So when you lie down to rest, your brain no longer has the strength to suppress intrusive or repetitive thoughts. That is why your mind often feels much louder at night than it does during the day. It is not because you're more anxious at night. It is because your mental filters are exhausted. But even after all this, there is still one more factor. Your brain is never static. It shifts between different internal states: reflection, planning, imagining, evaluating, analyzing. And these transitions happen naturally even when you're not trying to think about anything. The brain was not designed to be silent. It was designed to move. So when you rest, your mind doesn't stop. It simply changes modes. All of these systems working together create the overwhelming mental noise you experience during rest. But none of this is a sign of personal failure. None of it means something is wrong with you. It means your brain is alive, active, and functioning exactly the way it was created to function. But now that you understand why your mind behaves this way, the next step is learning how to guide that activity so it doesn't feel chaotic or stressful. Your racing mind is not a flaw, a failure, or a sign that you're bad at relaxing. It's a reflection of how the human brain naturally processes emotions, memories, and unfinished experiences once the world finally slows down. When you understand the default mode network, rumination loops, emotional triggers, dopamine dips, and attention fatigue, you begin to see that your mind is not attacking you. It's trying to help you make sense of your inner world. With awareness and gentle guidance, you can learn to work with your brain instead of fighting it. If you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe for more insightful videos.